Welcome to 2020
Women's Wrestling Fan Awards.
Yeah! Welcome everyone to Ring the Bell. This is Diaz.
And the Sriracha Muchacha, Paloma Star.
And you are here to see the winners of Ring the Bell and Diva Dirt's 2020 Women's Wrestling Fan Awards. Are you excited to see all the winners?
I'm excited.
So this year, we really got the fans riled up. I guess we got over 53,000 votes.
That's crazy! Oh my gosh!
So this year, we gave everything, all the choices to you fans. So all the way from the nominees, you had your voices heard, and you've also chosen your winner for the last week. So shall we begin?
We shall.
So let's start from the first category, Feud of the Year.
The nominees are Sasha Banks versus Bailey,
Bailey and Sasha Banks versus Asuka,
Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville,
and Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley.
and to present the winners, we have Joey and Moxie.
Thanks so much, Diaz and Paloma. It's me, Joey Mayberry, the dead bod demigod.
The interdimensional She-Ro Moxie Molly is so excited to be here to help host my first ever Fan End of the Year Awards. This is the dress I bought to wear to the Hall of Fame when DS was supposed to be running the IG for WWE, so I may as well get some use out of it.
Yes, I love that. I dressed up as Flames because this year was a dumpster fire. And your winner for Feud of the Year is
Sasha Banks versus Bailey.
Yeah, life sucks and then you die.
All right, Sasha Banks versus Bailey, the Feud of the Year. I think this was a pretty easy one. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, definitely it was well thought out, very long, and sometimes too long.
Also, this feud has been basically building for years, right?
It really has. Yeah, this is long-term booking at its finest for sure. Like, this has been going on forever. Like, it's been brewing little by little, and we finally got it.
Remember last time they fought like a couple of years ago? They made it go away by Sasha saying, "I love you."
I love you.
Yes, and everybody thought it was going to be like a lesbian angle or something, but no.
Yeah, when Bailey attacked Sasha finally, I was like, my constipation is over. Over. But let's go to the next category, Match of the Year.
The nominees are
Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks, Great American Bash.
Sasha Banks versus Bailey, Hell in a Cell.
Asuka versus Sasha Banks, SummerSlam.
Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley at NXT.
And Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae, Halloween Havoc.
And the match of the year goes to
Sasha Banks versus Bailey, Hell in a Cell.
This seems repetitive.
This was a really good match. This Hell in a Cell match was the better Hell in a Cell match that we got from that pay-per-view too.
Honestly, this category was so competitive.
No matter who wins, it's the right choice because every single one of these matches were so good. Like, seriously, any one of these matches could have won, and I wouldn't have been mad at it.
I think why this match really stands out is that this is a happy ending to a long-standing feud. I think that's why maybe give it a little bit of an edge. For example, like Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley, such a good match at WrestleMania, but they're not even nominated because a lot of people are upset about Charlotte being a champion, right? This match, Sasha finally getting that championship, I think it was just such a good, happy ending that made people vote for this.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It was very satisfying for a lot of people. It's kind of like a good cherry on top after a long feud. So I could see why this match won against the others.
But let's move to the next category. It is Most Underused.
Mickey James,
Naomi,
Ruby Riott,
Bianca Belair, EST.
and the entire AEW Women's Division.
Okay, take it away, Joey and Moxie.
And the winner, do you win this category of most underused is
No surprise here, Naomi.
literally, that girl is a may zing, but she is stuck in KAA terrain.
Listen, I cannot remember one like defining moment of her for 2020 except the horrible altogether, not horrible her, horrible karaoke night. Like that for her is what sticks out for me for 2020.
Dana Brooke singing the Honky Tonk Man is very much 2020 in a nutshell.
Maybe you shouldn't clap for it.
That's about to be like, that's why I clapped once and I'm like, no. Put my hand down right away. Isn't she nominated for this every year?
So I actually looked into it. So last year's was Sonya Deville. So you know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so last year was Sonya Deville, and look how amazing thing that Sonya Deville did. She really blew up. So hopefully
this happens for Naomi too. Come on.
maybe 2021 will be year of Naomi.
The year of the glow.
But also, I love how we got so much attention for putting AEW's entire women's division into nomination.
And it's so funny because I did see that a lot, but we weren't even the ones who did the nominations. You guys were, so don't get mad at us. Get mad at yourselves.
People are like, where's the lie, really? 2021, maybe AEW women's division. They'll be better too. Next category, one of my favorite category of the year, is most improved.
And the nominees are Sonya Deville,
Liv Morgan,
Britt Baker,
and Lana.
And the 2020 Fan Award for Most Improved goes to...
Liv Morgan!
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I mean, 2020 did not start off the best for Liv Morgan with the whole Lana storyline and the weird bathtub angles that really didn't go anywhere. But she finished it up on a high note, and I like it.
I do think Liv has a lot of talent that we're just starting to see. It wasn't so broadcast so widely before 2020. And I mean, she might be one of the only people that COVID really helped out.
I mean, yeah, and she beat out some really, really notable people in this. Like, you had Sonya Deville, who really, like, upped her promo game immensely this year. And, of course, you had Dr. Britt Baker, who was, you know, consistent, even though she was injured most of the year.
Liv Morgan! Yeah!
For sure. Like, when I first saw her in NXT, I actually saw her at a live NXT taping for WrestleMania weekend. I can't remember what WrestleMania weekend it was, but I saw her come out with her, yo, entrance music, and I'm just like, what? Okay, I see some potential, but she really exceeded any expectations, quite honestly, that I had for her. So she definitely has improved a lot. And she's definitely putting a lot of work into herself, into her character, and especially her in-ring skills. So definitely well-deserved, Liv.
This year, she really came into her own, came up with amazing movesets. Her finisher is absolutely amazing. She really took that bath and really came back crystallized.
And also, if you haven't seen the Live Forever special on the WWE Network, totally recommend it. It's really good.
I just want to shout out Sonya Deville, Britt Baker, and Lana. All three of them had an amazing year this year. Props to them. Props to them. Next category is Rookie of the Year.
Nominees are Shotzi Blackheart,
Anna Jay,
Red Velvet,
and Raquel Gonzalez.
Take it away, Joey and Moxie.
And the Rookie of the Year is...
Shotzi Blackheart.
Oh my god, I can't tell you how much I freaking love Shotzi. Shotzi deserved this award more than anybody. I don't care who was nominated.
I don't know if I would say she was Rookie of the Year, but I do feel we could say she was the breakout of the year.
Honestly, 2020 was really good for Shotzi. It might have been bad for the rest of the world, but for Shotzi Blackheart, this is a really good year.
Talk about somebody getting over. Like, that's how you get over. Good for her. She's such a, like, fresh of breath air. And I was even just talking about it watching the NXT War Games, how it's so cool how there's so many women and so many type of women, because when I was growing up, it was like you had like 4 women to choose from that you could look up to or like see yourself in, but now you have so many different array of women. I mean, even if you love bright green hair, you have somebody you could relate to. So I think Shotzi is really well deserved for sure. What a year she's had. What a whole career she's had, really. But what a first great year in WWE she's had.
She started this year entering Royal Rumble, so she obviously had an amazing start of the year. And then having that tank, hosting Halloween Havoc. Oh my god, hosting a freaking entire show?
And it was perfect for her too. It fit. It wasn't even like forced. It's like, yeah, this makes sense on why she's hosting a whole show. And she got a tank upgrade too.
And then her whole storyline of losing a tank. And remember when she actually lost her helmet?
Yes, I remember seeing that video with Jake Atlas. Was so cute. Jake Atlas came to the rescue. If she's this good now and had a great year. Can you imagine what else she could accomplish? I'm so happy and looking forward to seeing what else she does.
Let's move to the next category. It is the Tag Team of the Year.
The Golden Role Models.
Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz.
The Kabuki Warriors.
The Iconics.
And the Riot Squad.
The Tag Team of the Year award goes to...
The Golden Role Models of Bailey and Sasha Banks.
I've not heard enough of those ladies. They have not reached the pinnacle of accolades that they can.
I mean, they might as well be janitors because right now they are sweeping these awards.
All right. I mean, I think this is pretty clear too.
I see a trend here, though.
I feel like Golden Role Model is almost like the most dominant women's tag team ever, almost.
I definitely agree with you for sure. Actually, super random, but I don't like the name Golden Role Models because I don't know where the golden came from. I thought that was kind of like random, I guess, because they have titles. That's just a random side note for me. But I can see why they won. I mean, they were like the MVPs of the pandemic era, as weird as that sounds. I mean, we're still living in it right now, but they were like killing it in every single segment they were in. And they were in a lot of segments. Like they were consistently good and still managed to get better somehow.
Promo game, they killed characters, they advanced storyline, great in the ring, everything just overall amazing. And they had all the titles too. So I feel like it's a historic reign. But also I'm very excited for tag team division just in, well, WWE, not really, but I feel like what Impact is doing with tag division, absolutely amazing. So hopefully, at least for WWE and AEW, next year is a little better for them for tag division. But Impact is very promising at least.
Oh, for sure, definitely. And what I love about tag team divisions is just creates more opportunities for more women.
Next category is the fashionista, the best ring gear.
The nominees are Bianca Belair,
Sasha Banks,
Mandy Rose,
and Liv Morgan.
Hi, ring the bell. James Mansfield here to announce Best Ring Gear. And the winner is Sasha Banks. Had a dream I had ring gear. It was really sexy and pretty. Congratulations, Sasha. Yay, blue hair.
See, I'm telling you, it's a trend.
She's taking a lot of awards, and what's noteworthy is actually she won this award last year too.
I mean, she really does have really good gear, but I also love her outfits, like her out of gear outfits. I think that's what I like more than her in-ring stuff. She looks good in anything she wears, quite honestly.
Also, what's noteworthy about this award is that it was very close call with Bianca Belair, and I feel like Bianca Belair alone with that NXT Portland takeover outfit, Black History in Making outfit, that I think that could have won the entire thing.
And I think it says a lot to her because she's so creative in her outfits, but she sews them herself. Like, how awesome is that? Like, not only do you have great ideas, but you're able to produce those ideas. I think speaks volumes for her.
Are you saying that Sasha's cheating because she's dating a seamster? Is that how you say seamster?
Yeah, it's not fair. I'm just kidding.
Not fair. Let's go to the next category. It is Babyface of the Year.
The nominees are Shotzi Blackheart,
Kylie Ray.
This Is My Brutality, Rhea Ripley,
And Asuka.
The 2020 Fan Awards for Best Babyface of the Year goes to...
Nobody's ready. It's Asuka. Asuka was Babyface of the Year this year, especially throughout the summer. She had one of my favorite lines, period, end all, be all, where she just comes up behind Charlotte Flair with the belt and she's dancing and she's just like, the champion, the champion.
Champion.
Asuka. You and I have always known what she can do, and it's there, and I'm just so happy she's finally able to show us on national television. And I would say we may not have been able to see it to its fullest extent if Becky Lynch hadn't conceived. So thank you for that, Seth Rollins.
Yes! Asuka baby face of the year. Wholeheartedly agreed.
You know, I mentioned Sasha and Bailey being the MVPs. I mean, they were MVPs as a cohesive unit. Asuka was everywhere. She did commentary, she did backstage segments. She stepped up when she needed to, and she delivered without a doubt. She was so good. This really was a time for her to shine because obviously I think a lot of people knew how good she was in the ring, but I think it was kind of cool that we got to see her more of her personality shine doing other things besides wrestle.
I do have to say that she's kind of in that happy baby face
Slump
right now, dancing with Lana.
Right now, yes.
She's doing TikTok videos with Lana. But overall, I think all four of these people, absolutely amazing baby face. I always worry about baby faces in general because they're kind of boring. But this year, great baby faces. Love it. Let's move to the heel of the year.
The nominees are Bailey,
Sonya Deville,
Dr. Britt Baker,
and Sasha Banks.
And your 2020 pick for heel of the year is
Karen. Bailey.
It was Bailey. Like, even if you want to call her Karen, that's good because that means she was a solid heel because we're making fun of her.
Yes.
What a world do we live in? Like, who would ever thought, like, a few years ago, we would have Bailey as heel of the year when she was the most huge baby face that you can get. Like, she was like Hogan in the 80s over, like, as a baby face. But look at her now. Like, she really came into her own. I know we were a little bit skeptical about it, but I think what really shows is her growth and how she's tried different things to see what works. And now she's like the best version heel character of Bailey she could be.
I mean, this is definitely a career high of Bailey as a heel. Oh,
Crazy,
so good.
right? But then also, I think a lot of people need to remember the best heels are always the biggest faces. And that's when you should turn somebody, is when they're super, super over. But also, like, I like the progression that we saw of it. She kept on trying new things and she saw what worked and what didn't work and then changed them. Like, she didn't just stick to what she was doing. She's like, oh, this is what I'm going to do and keep on going. No, she evolved into the character that she is now. And that's just shows room for growth and seeing that she's learning and improving each time as a heel.
Again, this was very competitive, I think. Sonya Deville, obviously, absolutely amazing heel. And Britt Baker, she was injured for a lot of the time. She still was top heel of AEW.
That's when you know you're a good heel, is when you could still be relevant and have a great character, even though you're not in the ring.
Before we move to the next category, I just want to take this time to reflect on something big that happened this year. The Speaking Out movement. So if you remember, this is a social movement that started this year among the women of wrestling. It was a movement against emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual harassment. A lot of the things that was happening in the industry that people weren't talking about because they were scared of backlash, they were scared of politics. A lot of the brave women stood up and asked for changes.
We saw this movement of perpetual abuse, not just of women, but especially of women in the industry, come to light. And these stories started to become so touching and so real. It just created a tidal wave of fans and other sorts of entertainers in other industries coming out and speaking out of their personal experiences. And everyone on Ring the Bell had one to speak out about.
It's so refreshing to see this because you are so 100% right, is that so many times, this has been going on forever. So probably since wrestling has been around, but nobody really wants to say anything, or was how you mentioned, scared to say something because you want to get booked. And if you say something and if you like rock the boat, you're not going to get booked, or it's going to be hard to get bookings. And now I'm so glad that women do feel, and people in general, because I did see a lot of even men share their stories, be comfortable to be able to say something. And I really hope this was not just a movement because it looked cool for social media and sharing a hashtag. I hope it's actually a revolution instead of an actual just an online thing. And I just hope it's better for the women who are coming up and wrestling now, and for the women who are thinking about becoming wrestlers. I hope that they don't have to go through anything that me or any other women went through. So I think it's a really good way to shine a spotlight on something so important that I don't think it's been talked about.
I don't think we can totally discredit how terrible 2020 was, because at least it gave us that very notable and gut-wrenching and needed to happen conversation that is the Speaking Out movement.
So let's move to the next category, and it is the biggest news story of the year.
That's my shock face.
Biggest shock/news story of 2020 goes to
Becky Lynch on being a mother. I love it.
Baby Rux, as DS would say.
It's Rue, though, right?
It is Rue. Yes, it's a French word. I think people were more excited about this because it was a child between literally the top of the female division and the top of the male division.
Mm-hmm. There you go. 2 tops make a baby.
Ooh. A Rue makes a baby apparently too.
Being on top of the game and just announcing pregnancy out of nowhere.
And the way she announced it too, I think that adds a whole nother level of like shock and news story, is because the way she announced it and to see everybody's reaction, especially Oscar, was really nice and a good shock to everybody. So it's a great way to say it. I wish everybody announced their pregnancies that way, quite honestly.
With Oscar dancing next to you.
Yes! Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome!
Let's move to our next category. It is segment of the year.
And the nominees are Becky Lynch pregnancy,
Sonya Deville turns on Mandy Rose,
Bailey turns on Sasha,
Suzy and Sooyoung appear at the same time,
and Alexa Bliss joins the Fiend.
And the winner of segment of the year is
Becky Lynch announcing her pregnancy.
ooh, yay!
We just discussed this. It's cute. It's gorgeous. There's a new child in the world. It's a blessing.
Brandy Rhodes got robbed.
What?
My segment of the year is still, who the hell told you it's open mic night, bitch? Love it.
I'm not silently judging you. I'm very loudly judging you.
yes, Becky.
Okay. Two
Becky
times.
Lynch. 2 times.
I can see why, again, like we just mentioned, I could definitely see why it was the segment of the year. But I also feel like there's some good segments too, though. Bailey turning on Sasha, I know that was kind of like long time coming, so it was almost like expected. But Sonya Deville turning on Mandy Rose, I think what happened afterwards and that great storyline and build up to it, I think the storyline of it made that segment even better in retrospect.
I guess just like Becky Lynch's segment being that it's like real.
Yeah.
And, like Asuka's reaction was so raw too. Like everything just being so real in this era where everything's so scripted. I think that just really sticks out. Next category is entrance theme of the year.
Nominees are Sasha Banks' The Sky's the Limit, the remix,
Io Shirai's Tokyo Sky,
Billy Kay's Seduction,
and Alexa Bliss.
The 2020 Fan Awards for Entrance Theme of the Year goes to...
So fresh, y'all. Something, y'all. Snoop Dogg for Sasha Banks, the best, y'all. Sasha Banks is your winner.
I'm not even surprised anymore. Sasha Banks is winning everything, and just like she's gonna run out of room in her house for these awards.
Give me that trophy. Give me that trophy.
I like it, especially when they came out with the remix of it. I was like, her song is already so good. How are you gonna remix it? And then I'm like, oh, okay, I like it. I don't mind it. And I think it's like one of the like most viewed entrance YouTube videos, right?
So this is really noteworthy because since we started this award, Sasha Banks won every year. She won it with her original theme song. She's winning it with a remix. Every year.
I wonder what it'll be next year.
It'll probably Sasha unless they change it. They're like, I don't like CFO anymore. I mean, Snoop Dogg is in AEW now, so maybe they're like, Snoop Dogg.
Maybe, we'll see.
Let's move to the next category. It is Best Roster.
And your winner for Best Roster is...
NXT!
Yeah.
No surprise!
No competition. I mean, honestly, the knockouts are doing really well, but in terms of like viewership and popularity, it's all NXT.
I mean, Knockouts was pretty solid for most of the year, but like full 2020 strong. Knockouts didn't start till maybe more mid-year, getting like really solid. So like, I agree with this. NXT, I was just having this conversation around the dinner table, how no one can hold a candle to the NXT women's division.
I'm not surprised, right? NXT is solid roster for sure, and it runs deep. It's so good. There's so many, which is great. Like the talent pool in NXT is ridiculous, like to the point where I almost don't want them to be called up to the main roster because they're just so good with what they're doing right now. But I'm definitely not surprised. This is who I voted voted for.
Yeah, I think War Games also was just a perfect example of how well they built everyone, because everyone in there looked like they could be number one contender to Io Shirai anytime.
That's a great point. That's a really good point, actually, because if you look at the Raw and SmackDown rosters, they're not believable challengers to the champion. But in NXT, very good point is every single one of them, you could see them go challenge for the women's title at any point.
But I also want to acknowledge that NXT also has a lot of people that are not being used. So next year, I want to see Casey and Kaden get used more. Xia Li, I love what she's doing with Boa segments. I like it. And then Aaliyah, please give Aaliyah some time to shine.
I love the whole Robert Stone the whole dynamic that were going on with her. I kind of want them to go even further with that too.
Move to the next category. It is the best finisher.
Nominees are Peyton Royce,
Ember Moon,
Io Shirai,
and Bianca Belair.
The 2020 Fan Awards for Best Finisher goes to...
It's the Eclipse from Ember Moon. And that's saying something too, because Ember was gone for most of this year.
Agreed. I have no words. Like, she was just like, bitch, I've been gone, but I ain't been forgotten.
And she came back with like a new fresh coat of paint and a new gimmick, and it felt very well done. It felt very just well written. Like, there's just, I don't fully know what she is still, but to come out with the technological kind of apocalyptic motorcycle gimmick, that at least appealed to what her character was, as opposed to like just debuting her with a new look.
It felt like an evolution of her former character.
Ooh. That move is insane. I mean, ever since I've known Ember, I always call her Athena, ever since I met her, like when she would do that, I'm like, how? Like in my head, I couldn't realize how physically that's done. It's so creative. It's so different. And the important thing is, I always say, like, the finisher is you want to have a finisher that you can hit on anybody. And this is something that no matter how big, how small, how tall, Ember Moon can hit this move. And it's just so pretty. I don't even know how she came up with it.
I think Ember just hit it like maybe 2 times or 2 or 3 times this year. Not many. Obviously, the one at War Games was friggin' amazing on the steel chair. She didn't even hit that many times, but still, this one. The entire thing.
Is that she doesn't need to hit it that much to be that good.
It probably is like top 5 when it comes to women's finisher in the history.
For sure. I agree.
Let's move to a very competitive, I think the most competitive, WTF moment of the year.
All these are definitely WTF. And we'll start off with Zelina Vega gets released.
Mickie James and Asuka's botched ending.
The Iconic split up.
Lana versus the tables.
I am the table. Karaoke showdown.
What an amazing, like all the memories this year.
And your vote for the WTF moment of the year is...
The Iconics broke up? What the fuck?
You gotta be joking me.
The Iconics.
Yes, unfortunately. Or fortunately. Is this an award you want to win?
I think it just shows that people were really disappointed about the whole thing. I mean, especially because Iconics had this triumphant return where for a minute we thought they were getting booked pretty strongly.
Yeah, and we thought they were going to be like a different gimmick, different characters. And not only did it end up being the same, they ended up breaking up for no reason. Like, there's really no reason to break them up. Look at them now. They're just like floundering around trying to figure out what to do. It would be a little bit better if they broke up and they had a clear path and goal. And like, we know what we're going to do with you. This is what we're going to do. And then they do it. But it doesn't seem like they even had a plan.
You know what's even more sad? I don't think they came up with like their own individual gears yet. I think they're like still they're still holding on to it. They're like, maybe they will reunite.
Maybe they're like, if I don't get new gear, maybe they'll put us back together.
Before we go to the top 2 awards.
With all these great awards, we definitely want to take a time and step back and really pay honor and keep her memory alive for Hana Kimura and the tragic passing in May. She was only 22 years old and it was due to cyberbullying. I mean, this news hit hard, even the mainstream media. This should never happen. The only reason why we should know who Hana is, and unfortunately was because of her amazing wrestling skills, not because she unfortunately passed away. Like, we should be celebrating her life and how good she was. And I hate that I have to say her name in past tense. This should not be the case at all. And as sad as this was, I really hope that her memory lives on, and also people see and realize the words that you say online are real words, and real people see these. While wrestling is great and we love to see all the characters and all the gimmicks, we have to remember that behind that is a real person with real feelings that will read this and will be affected by them.
I really hope we can all remember Hana and for how amazing of a person she was, amazing pro wrestler she was, and also remember that let's treat everyone else with kindness. At the end of the day, they are bigger than life superstars, they are bigger than life wrestlers, but at the end of the day, just like you and me, just like all of us, they're just human. Yeah, so let's just think of that. Be kind. All right, so let's move to the big two awards, and starting with the Indie Wrestler of the Year.
The nominees for this quite competitive category: Thunder Rosa,
Jazz,
Serena Deeb,
and Trish Adora.
Independent Wrestler of the Year award goes to...
She's from New Orleans, Louisiana, and the bitch is back. It's Jazz.
All the other girls in this category had the odds of a legend stacked against them, but she's a legend. What are you going to do?
I agree. I think that a lot of people did vote in a way that would just show, oh, I know who Jazz is. I'm going to vote for Jazz because she is the legend in her own right. She was independent the entire year, aside from going with Impact and doing stuff with NWA. So I can see how she would qualify for this, but to beat out someone like Thunder Rosa, who I think really was an independent standout this year, seems a little bit like, did the indie darling get beat by the future Hall of Famer? But congratulations to Jazz.
You are a phenom. Don't get me wrong.
And should be in the Hall of Fame and making appearances in WWE regularly, but what can you do?
It is Jazz.
hopefully my future opponent. I just need to keep on saying it till it happens, damn it.
Every episode, let's say it.
Every episode, let's say it will happen. I think she's done it all. I think she's been in every company that you could think of. She has been in and has succeeded in, and now she took over the indie scene. But also, I feel like now at the end of the year, she's in Impact. Is there anything that this woman can't do?
I also want to point out this was a very close category. This is actually the closest one we had this entire awards, because a very close second was Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa obviously had an absolutely amazing year being in AEW, taking over AEW almost. It was absolutely amazing. So I wanna shout out both Jazz and Thunder Rosa, and actually that's really cool because they're actually working together.
Oh yeah, that is true.
They're also working very hard to raise the next generation of women's wrestlers. So I guess this award means even more.
Totally. And I always love seeing the nominees for this award each year, because you never know who could be in it. And like I said, there's so many good women to choose from that I'm excited to see who's going to be nominated next year.
Let's move to the last category, and it is the Women of the Year.
And the nominees are Sasha Banks,
Bailey,
Asuka,
and Io Shirai.
And we have arrived to the most grandiose award that we can possibly give out. It's time for Woman of the Year, and your 2020 Woman of the Year is...
Sasha Banks!
Woo! Girl, that was it. Get my breath back. I don't know.
We all said her name about 16 times, so I had to put some new sort of flair on it.
You did put some flair on it, and Sasha Banks really did sweep the awards this year. She won 6 out of our awards.
Can we agree that this year, 2020, was boss time?
It was. Oh my gosh, 2020 was definitely boss time all the time for sure. I mean, just as we could see Sasha killing it on the awards, she really killed it in real life. I don't have enough words to say how good Sasha Banks is. So I think she definitely deserves this award. I know she won a lot of awards, but I think if I had to pick one award that I think she deserves, is definitely this one for sure.
So including this, she took away 6 awards tonight.
That's crazy.
Every match that she was in were amazing. She was in one of the biggest storylines of the year. She touched all the gold, actually, SmackDown, Raw, and Tag. And also, she was a Mandalorian. Everyone, it's Disney. Can you believe?
Does not get any better than that. Good for her.
In every single way she served, she's a waitress. It's amazing. So congrats, and thank you, Sasha Banks, for really entertaining us this year. But also want to shout out everyone else in this category: Bailey, Asuka, Io Shirai. So good.
So good. I mean, every single one of these women in this category is absolutely amazing. So I cannot wait what everybody else does the coming year.
So thank you so much for watching this year's Women's Wrestling Fan Awards. It was a Sasha Banks show, and deservingly so.
It is boss time all the time over here.
And I also want to say 2020 has been a very tough year, but thank you so much for sticking with us.
We definitely appreciate it, and I love reading everybody's comments and everybody just hanging out with us. I know there's been some changes, not only in the world, but in the Ring the Bell formatting as well. So thank you all for still watching, for the support. It's really cool to see that you guys are still sticking with us.
I am so excited to be a part of my first ever fan awards. I'm so excited to be a part of the channel of Ring the Bell, and I would just like to take this moment to announce my Ring the Bell retirement. Just kidding. You're never getting rid of me.
You got me there for a little second. I was like, wait, hold up. Thank you guys so much for watching us on Ring the Bell. It truly means a lot. I know that I could probably speak for Moxie and Paloma and DS as well, saying that we've got to meet so many cool people and so many people who are just so passionate about women's wrestling. And it's really nice to grow this community and meet some people and just get to know each and every one of you. And thank you guys for letting us into your lives.
Hopefully we'll see you next year with another award next year. So that'll be really fun.
And make sure you comment down below to see what your thoughts, who thought was snubbed. Do you agree with the winners? But just don't get mad at us because y'all picked.
It's not us. It's not us. We're just presenting it. Paloma, where can we find you?
You can find me at Paloma Star on Instagram and Twitter, and feel free to follow me on my YouTube channel too. I have a whole bunch of new stuff coming up.
You also have a big match coming up with Queen Aminata.
I do. January 2nd. It's my first match of 2021 at War in Lima, Ohio, taking on Queen Aminata. But I mean, there's only one queen at War, and it's me. So.
And you can find me at DS Shin and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter. All right. Bye.